Zentrix AI. The advanced AI-powered trading platform for every trader. Everything you need for trading success. Research, strategy, automation, trade signals, all in one platform. Write strategies in plain language. We build the bots. Forex, crypto, stocks, futures. Every market. Let AI do the heavy lifting. Zentrix AI. The future of trading is here. Are you ready?
Okay, what's up people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Of course, if you're not joined the Telegram channel for Zentrix AI yet, make sure you go do that. I will post the link again in the chat. Just bear a second with me. Again, if you're interested in learning a bit more about AI and how that could develop and improve your trading, automated trading bots, developing strategies, developing indicators as well, understanding fundamentals, and a lot more yet to come as well. So if you are interested, make sure you go check out the Telegram. More information and updates regarding launch will be found there. But I hope everyone is doing well. And welcome to another stream. As always, guys, check out the Discord as well. To Elevating Traders, join the community if you're interested. But yeah, I hope everyone's well. As always, guys, we'll go through the DXY USD side of things first. USD majors, gold, and silver. Any requests, put it in the chat. We'll take a look. Excuse me. Any time frames as well. Any particular time frames you want me to take a look at. Most of the time I'll be on the 4-hour chart, but if there is a time frame on a pair you want me to take a look at, let me know. But Amos, good morning, hope you're well. Raphael, yes, we'll take a look at oil for you. Let me just get through the pairs, the USD pairs first. We'll take a look at oil. David, appreciate it, really appreciate that message, my man. I'm glad you're enjoying the streams, finding it useful. That is great to hear. What is up? Makamu, hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream. I'm doing good, thank you for asking. Yes, we will take a look at USD JPY, no problem. Okay, sell, nice. I'm pretty bearish on the pair as well. I'm expecting a lot more downside for dollar yen, so it looks like we're in a similar page, on the same page, similar page. But yeah, I'll go through the analysis and share my thoughts on that one. Morning, Ivan, welcome to the stream, hope you're well. Julius, what is up? Yeah, welcome to the second half of the year. First half's gone pretty quick, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, it's the second half of the year. We'll actually go through some quarterly charts and monthly charts as well, see how some candlesticks have closed. But yeah, it is the second half of the year officially, which is quite crazy. It's gone pretty quick. Tashapo, welcome to the stream, hope you're well. Hope you're doing good. What is up, Mo? Welcome to the stream. Karim, welcome to the stream. Hope you are well. So let's get through some DXY side of things and the dollar as a whole. So yeah, pretty bearish since we last spoke. Market continued to fall. A lot more downside. We have swept these lows and price is now looking pretty bearish. I did mention yesterday a couple areas where the DXY could pull back towards. We mentioned this range here. We also mentioned this area here as well. But no, the market was far too bearish to even see a pullback into that level there. It just consolidated and broke lower late in the afternoon. I've been looking pretty bearish since then. So USD, I'm still looking at this as an overall a very corrective market structure. Yes, we're still very bearish, but we're not really seeing much momentum here. We have seen a bit more momentum in the last leg there, but it's still very corrective. So I do think soon come dollar strength will be coming into the market. We'll see how we react with NFP on Thursday. But again, if you're intraday, shorts are still the best bet. And the areas we mentioned yesterday still look ripe for some shorting opportunities. If price was to pull back and respect these areas, slow down, maybe see a double top form or some exaggerated wicks, I think these are still very smart areas to short and potentially capitalize on another swing high, as we have been so consistent with that. The only way I do go bullish with the DXY is if we do go and take out this high here. The market's been so bearish, very consistent with its market structure. If we were suddenly to go and pivot and take out this high, that would tell me that, okay, the USD bearish trend is most likely at an end, or at least a big pause, and we could be seeing a prolonged uptrend, even if we are going to continue down later on. But there probably will be some nice buying opportunities and some nice higher highs and higher lows we can capitalize on. So in terms of the reversal for the dollar, we're still a long way away from that. Like I said, I want to see this high taken out. It doesn't look like that's going to be done anytime soon. So at the moment, things are still bearish, especially if you're intraday. Keep an eye on shorting opportunities. Price has created another range over here, which we could even see a retest of that before a short. I think from a kind of 15-minute perspective, that could be a nice area to look out for some shorting opportunities. It just depends how big of a pullback USD wants. If it wants to have a prolonged pullback, we could be looking at 98.8 for a short. If it's very short and there's a lot of momentum in the market, we might see a retest of this area and get a continuation. The way to find that out is to monitor how we pull back and how price reacts with those areas. If we're seeing a lot of momentum quickly, in terms of a lot of bullish momentum suddenly comes into the market, then maybe we're going to get a bigger pullback. If it's a very slow up move and price starts to fire a lot of wicks around here, then of course those are signs that says, okay, this zone is probably going to hold and we could be looking for some shorting opportunities. So any one of those areas, I know it's quite a big range, but really that's kind of what we're dealing with right now with USD. A lot of weakness, a few zones price could pull back into. It's just something we have to monitor, keep an eye on. But yeah, for now, Euro USD is still pretty bullish. Dollar's still pretty bearish, so this one's still flying higher as well. We mentioned this area as a nice place for a buy. Nice brief range, sharp break to the upside. Would be nice to see price come back and retest that. But of course, nope, we're too bullish. We also mentioned this area, just in case we had a slightly deeper pullback. I also mentioned this trend line here as well. It's a nice confluence lining up there, but no, the market's too bullish for that as well. And now we've broken out of this range. Again, maybe not the cleanest breakout in the world. We did see some momentum, but it looks a little bit dry now, so it's not nothing overwhelmingly bullish. I probably would still wait for the bigger pullback, to be honest. This doesn't really fill me with much confidence. But yeah, same situation with Euro. Very corrective market as a whole. This up move hasn't been flying high with a lot of momentum. It's still very corrective. So I do think at some point in time, we will put that top in and have that pull and have that reversal / counter trend move. Again, same thing with the dollar. If we are going to reverse, I need this low to be taken out. Again, a lot of people say that's too far to wait. Well, at least structure will be in my favor at that point. Taking shorts before that low is taken out is always quite aggressive. And as I always say, the trend can always go a little bit higher. Price might push down and still keep pushing to the upside. If we can get that break of structure, well, at least I know now that there's a likelihood we'll see some more downside. So if I can get a decent pullback, fantastic. I'd love to take advantage of that. So in terms of the shorts for Euro, a long way away. Same with the dollar, DXY, a long way away from buys, not quite ready yet at all. Buys still look good. I still like the zones we mentioned yesterday, 1.163 and 1.153. If price can revisit those, I think that would be great. But we'll see. There's a lot of momentum in the market right now. We are starting to fatigue, so I feel like a pullback's on the cards. But we'll see if we can get there. Again, a lot of trading just waiting to see if price will give a setup for you. Sometimes it will, sometimes it doesn't. The worst thing to do is try and chase markets just because you feel like you won't get a setup. Yeah, that doesn't come from comes from a place of desperation and not a place of kind of confidence and discipline. So we do not want to be doing that. Pound USD likewise as well, more momentum. Just about took out the highs. Was looking for a slightly bigger pullback there for Pound USD, but unfortunately didn't quite see that happen. I was talking about this area at 1.362. Again, of course, lined up very well with the prior swing high. But essentially looking for the retest of this area for a buy. We came about halfway before price looked bullish again. Now we've had a bit of a rally creating new highs. So I still like this area. It still looks like a nice place for a buy for me. A lot of momentum there to the upside. I think pound looks a bit cleaner than euro just because of how we've moved to the upside. It's been very impulsive, very aggressive momentum, which is something that gives me a bit more confidence to follow this trend, especially when I know it's been going on for quite a while. We've been trending to the upside since pretty much the start of the year. So this trend is showing signs of coming to an end, but the fact that we've had a very strong up move here still gives me confidence to keep buying it, but I wouldn't be looking for a big move necessarily. So yeah, pound USD, I still like this area here. If we can have that deeper pullback, I would say this is a smart place to long. Again, like I said, I wouldn't be looking for big moves here for pound, big moves for euro. I think they are becoming quite corrective and starting to slow down, and they have been quite bullish for a while, so I do think bigger pullbacks are coming. But if you can swing it back to the prior high, I think that's a smart trade and a reasonable one as well. So keeping a close eye on some of these pullbacks. Pound USD 1.363 still looks really good to me. That rhymed. Dollar CAD, pretty bearish on. Difficult to find opportunities with this one. It looks like price is on its way back to the lows. I did mention I like the idea of a double top at the highs here. Price was to come back and revisit that resistance. I think that would be a smart place to short the market from. And then expectation would be a swing back into support. We had that really ugly wick on the 4-hour chart at the end of last week, which made things a bit awkward. Essentially, we did retest this zone here. Break and retest, break, retest, and now price has continued, but it just hasn't been clean. The entry was never really clean anyway. And of course, since the market has opened up for the week, we've been looking pretty bearish. So it looks like price is on a path back to the lows now. So in terms of shorting dollar CAD, I would say you have to drop right down for this one. I like this area here, brief range, nice break to the downside with some momentum. I would say a pullback roughly into these areas could look good. Again, they do look good, but depending how price gets, then how they react, that will of course make or break the trade. But they do look good on paper, but how price gets there and how we react is a very important aspect as well. But those would be areas I would be considering, especially on that hourly chart. I'm looking at these lower highs here, kind of equal highs there, another push down. We'll be looking to see if we can find the next lower high on the way back down to the low here. We may just keep falling as well, so there's that too. We might not get another pullback, but again, like I said earlier, trading is about waiting. Potentially we do get the pullback, and that's where you want to be finding your opportunities rather than just shorting at the lows, just with the fear of missing out on a move. So yeah, USD CAD very bearish on. I like the structure in the lower time frames. 4-hour chart does not look like it's going to give me the opportunity at the double top here. But yeah, I do see more downside there for dollar CAD. Aussie dollar, this one's rallied higher. It's becoming a little bit more interesting now. I've been speaking a lot about the ascending channel, and I've been talking about looking to short the upper end of the channel, more or less around 0.66. I'm liking how we're moving. It's a bit more aggressive, but we are still very corrective in nature. So I'm going to see how we operate at the high of the channel. If I can see some healthy rejections, are we looking to short, take it back to the low end of the channel, and then we'll see what happens from there. I think a trade from the high of the channel to the low is a great trade. Probably the risk reward will be decent. Hopefully find a 1 to 2 at least there. But I like the idea, because if I do catch a short here and we do potentially catch a breakout, I would be expecting a pretty big move down. So the reason why I like this idea is not just because I'm trading the width of the channel, but I'm also potentially trading the breakout. Of course, maybe price does bounce in, it does go against me. I will secure partials, I'll secure profit. But the downside opportunity is quite large there. So I quite like the shorts here for Aussie dollar. Not quite there yet, so expecting a bit more upside, but we're going to see how we react with that area and if it justifies a trade. New Zealand dollar broke higher yesterday, I'm pretty sure. Yep, looking pretty bullish as well. Somewhat of an ascending channel here as well. If I connect the lows and the highs, you can see roughly we've got somewhat of a channel here. Not your textbook one, but we're kind of operating in that area. There could be some shorts as we come back into this level. Now that we have taken out these highs, perhaps we do have a very strong reaction come back down. If, of course, price continues that momentum and breaks higher, then I would stay away there from NZD/USD. Maybe price is going to continue to trend higher. We could actually look for a retest and a continuation. So if we are going to sell off, now's the time to start to see some rejection for NZD/USD. At the moment, we just got that very strong candle which closed, so we're not seeing any signs of rejection just yet. But we're at a nice area. So I'll keep a close eye on NZD/USD and Aussie dollar. They're very similar pairs. They're both coming to the upper end of the channel. So I think it's a situation where they both kind of reject and sell off, or they both break out. So NZUSD at the moment, we'll see what we do there. Yes, we're looking bullish right now, but that can change very quickly. We'll see how price reacts, and of course how Aussie reacts as well. But if we do break higher, then yeah, there's probably more upside to be had, but we shall see. Over to gold. Gold's been quite interesting. Very, very bullish there. Was not expecting that from gold, I must say. I was looking for gold to continue falling, but we've had this kind of V-shaped reversal, which has changed things quite a lot, because when I do see V-shaped patterns, I'm always going to be expecting a continuation of that pattern, because that's what it represents. If the market has an aggressive sell followed by an aggressive buy, typically we do tend to follow the buy and see more upside. Now, it could be a situation where price is just having a bigger correction than expected, so we're doing something like this to see more upside. Maybe we might pull back and respect an area like this, form another lower high, and then perhaps continue down. That could be the situation. I could see gold doing that, and in fact, I still do favor that. As long as price isn't above this high, I still do favor the sells there for gold, and I still do favor a swing back into lows. But it has made things a bit awkward, and you do need to be a bit more patient. Now, I wouldn't be looking to jump straight into any sells at all. Like I said, since we did break the structure there on the left, that has made me bearish on the pair. But now that we've had a very aggressive buy, I do think this high is now going to be taken out. We might see a pullback before then or slightly afterwards, but I do think this high will be taken out. And we probably will push back into this zone, this supply area here. And then that will make or break the trade. If we can see some substantial rejection, maybe some nice double top forms or some healthy wick rejections, momentum shifts, that would be a very nice trade to take. And I think there'll be a pretty big sell. That might interest me on some 4-hour entries as well. Initially, I said this is a pullback more for like an hourly chart or below. Now that we're seeing a slightly bigger pullback, I might have a stab on the 4-hour chart. Depends on the entry, but I'll keep a close eye on it. But yeah, gold, very aggressive V-shaped reversal here. We've still got this swing high, which is keeping us bearish. If the market does continue and run through the highs here, yes, I will fold with that bearish bias, probably turn bullish at that point, or at least just neutral. But for now, I'm still bearish, looking at this zone here for some shorts, 33.80. We'll see how price operates, but there could be some nice selling opportunities. And in terms of silver, silver I'm actually pretty bullish on. I'm still looking to buy. I like the high here, which we have mentioned about 200 times now. It's just price hasn't got there. We had the breakout about a couple or 3 weeks ago now, and price has just been very, very sideways. I must say, we are rejecting support very well. Continuous wicks into this area, which does mean that support is doing a pretty good job at holding. Perhaps silver does rally from here. Maybe I don't get the retest there. I mean, with all these wicks, it's going to take some energy for us to actually see that pullback now. So I do worry about the opportunity here, 34.8. It doesn't look likely at the moment. That's really what I'm waiting for. I think the buys off this level do make sense as well. If price was to push back down there again, see another rejection, I think trying to find some buys off that level makes sense. It is essentially a market that is ranging, but this is definitely powerful support, and I do expect us to break higher. So buying low is definitely a smart idea. I probably would drop to the low time frame just to maximize risk reward. But yeah, this support level at 35.8 is proven to be a very strong support level. If we can get there again and react, I think it's a smart place for a buy. Like I said, I'll still keep an eye out on this area. That's still the level which I want to buy from, but maybe I don't get that opportunity. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, silver still looking to take price higher. I like it to the upside, but got to be patient with this one. Okay, where was I? So a bunch of pairs to go through. Again, any requests, just drop it in the chat. We'll take a look. But Raphael, you mentioned oil. Longs from current price. What do you suggest for a take profit and stop loss? Okay, we'll take a look. Makamu, you mentioned dollar yen. I'll take a look at that as well. So yeah, you mentioned you're in the sell around 143.672, looking for the first TP. We'd love to hold until 141.712. Okay, we'll have a look. Julius, WTI top down on the monthly and silver. Okay, I'll have a look. I'm about to go through oil first. David, what is up? Gold, please. Would you think we should expect a pullback? It depends which direction you're looking to trade, David. Like I said, for gold, I'm still pretty bearish for this one. I know we're looking quite bullish right now. And actually, I think there is some nice buying opportunities on the way up as well. If you are bullish, I think there are some nice buys for something like an inverse head and shoulder pattern. So typically when we do get these V-shaped patterns, they do present inverse head and shoulder patterns as well, because you got the left shoulder there, the head, and possibly the right shoulder. So if you're looking for a pullback for a buy, then 33.07 looks good to me. That looks like a nice place for a buy and then a continuation. Like I said, I'm still looking for shorting opportunities myself, and preferably up at the high here, away from all that momentum hopefully, but we'll see how price reacts. So from a shorting standpoint, sales look good, 33.80. Buying standpoint on the lower time frames, buys look good around 33.06. So depending on your bias, there's opportunities both ways. Like I said, I'm still favoring this long term, but buys on the way up makes sense. Definitely if price can pull back there. So that's really what I would consider if I was a buyer. But let's take a look at oil. So oil, Rafael said you're long, and you're looking to see if price can continue, or where you should put your stop loss and your take profit. Actually, let me take a look at the other one. So yeah, in terms of where you should put your take profit and stop loss, again, that's a very ambiguous question. It really depends what you're looking for. You know, your take profit could be, 67, or it could be 77. It really depends what you're looking for, what time frames you're operating on, how big your stop loss is going to be. That's all depends on what you're trying to achieve in the market. If you're swing bias, or you're trying to day trade. So in terms of where you should put your take profit and where you should put your stop loss, that's a decision that you have to make based on what you're looking for. Unless you give me a bit more information, then I can be a bit more used to you. But in general, that's a very kind of, it could literally be anywhere really. If I was looking to buy it, if I was looking to buy oil from a swing bias, then I would be looking to see if I can swing it back to these highs here. Again, that might be too far for the move you're looking at. And I would look to manage that trade along the way. It wouldn't be a situation where I just buy and hold all the way up there. I'll buy here with the expectation that oil could get there, but I'll monitor how we move. If I see some red flags along the way, I will cut the trade early, take the profit and run. And I probably have a couple of other targets which I'll look for along the way as well. But where we're trading is at a very significant level of support, which is why I do have that longer term swing bias. This is if I go to the weekly chart actually, this is a very significant level of support, which you can see we've had some very substantial reactions from, and we're trading at that same zone right now. So this is why I like the buys, because if we do hold this level, I think price has a lot of room to cover. I do think eventually we'll probably push back into resistance here. So the way I see it, there's a big swing to be had. If price does break below this zone, that pretty much puts an end to my bullish bias at that point, and I'll back away. But I like where we're trading. At the moment, we're very flat. We're kind of just consolidating. So as I mentioned yesterday, in terms of a nice entry, I'll just wait for price to give me a strong close outside of this noise, like a very big bullish engulfing candle, something like that. That would be a nice entry. Wait for the breakout, stops below the consolidation. Doesn't need to be more complicated than that. Then yeah, I'll look to see if I can target the resistance up there. Like I said, I'll monitor as the trade progresses, see how we move, how we look. There's momentum and structure continue in my favor. Great, I'll hold the trade. If I'm getting some major signs of rejection or big break of structures, I will close the position early. But that's really what I'll be looking for oil. But in terms of an entry, we're not quite there yet. We're still very sideways, still very flat. We could still very much break lower. So I need to see that momentum come to the market. That will be my entry signal that tells me, okay, buyers are holding support. We're now likely to continue higher. I enter there, stops below the consolidation, bit of wiggle room just to give me a bit of space, and then yeah, targets back at the high. But in terms of my outlook for oil, it is bullish because of the zone we're holding on to. I'm looking at this as somewhat of a big fake out. Even from a monthly perspective, the way I see it, price has had a very sharp move down and we're starting to recover that. Although that wick is horrendous. I did not see that. I did not see that at all. That's actually made me double think. Double think. Wrong word. Take a double take. Yeah, that's actually made it not as good of an opportunity as I thought it was. I hadn't looked at the monthly chart on oil. That is not a good candle at all. I mean, I still think the buys are good. I still think there's a world where we do go and fill the wick to the upside and see that bigger move. But I think the entry is going to be so important now. Because from a monthly perspective, it's equivalent to us breaking support here and now retesting as resistance. With that big wick, the fact that we left a humongous wick above the zone, essentially prices tried to break above the level but has failed quite miserably there. So this is essentially resistance which is still holding, and from a monthly perspective, we could expect to see a bearish month there. So the entry is going to be very, very important. And I say that because it will give us the indication to where momentum is going to probably flow to. Because if we do see price have a strong break above this consolidation with a strong close, that tells us, okay, buyers are here and we're likely to continue higher. If we, of course, see a strong close like this, well, that's, of course, giving us the opposite. And at that point, we're probably going to see that monthly bias play out, and we could see price give us something like this and continue lower. And then this becomes a big fake out. So, yeah, that has definitely skewed things, I'm not going to lie. So I still like the buys here for oil. We're still just about holding significant support. So I think the buys look good, but the entry has become very, very important now to dictate which way we're likely to move. And if we do break lower, just like I'm looking for longs if we break higher, I think shorts will look very, very good. You've got that monthly confluence for you, and some shorts will look good, and perhaps a push back into support here. So I can see price go both ways, I'm not going to lie, but depending how we break out, that will dictate the bias now. So yeah, that is a very awkward candle in the monthly chart because it kind of contradicts what the lower time frames are doing, but monthly still has a lot of weight to it, so you got to show respect to the monthly. So yeah, I would wait to see which way we break out and then use that to my advantage. Okay, so we'll go take a look at where was I? What's up, D-Mart? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Manzondi, what is up? Hope you're doing good. CS Integrated, my man. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream. Korean pound Aussie shorts. Yeah, I'm currently in pound Aussie shorts. I'm not too sure about entering pound Aussie shorts now. But yeah, I'm currently in some shorts. Tommy, nice. Yeah, it's looking deep. We had some decent momentum yesterday. Things were looking pretty flat. I did say I was going to keep a close eye on the trade and potentially even close it early if we did continue to consolidate. But momentum did eventually pick up, and we did see a very strong break. Just one 4-hour candle kind of just set the tone. Very strong move to the downside. We cleared out some support in the lower time frames. Just about wicked through this low here as well. So I have gone to break even on the position. So risk is now removed. We had that initial pop in my favor. Now I'm looking to see if we continue. If price does get back to resistance, we're back at square one again. So at that point, I'll look for re-entries if things still look good, and to see if I can get back into a trade and take advantage of the swing. So I don't really want to see price come back there anymore. If we do, I'd rather just get out of this trade for break even and find a new entry. So I have removed risk and trailed my stops now. But the plan is to see a lot more downside. You know, if this is price respecting resistance and we are getting ready to turn around, I do think we can see price really fall to the downside. And it could be a situation where we actually really fall in terms of start to see a bit of a bearish trend, which is actually what I'm expecting in the long term, which is why I like the trade. It was a bit more of an aggressive trade to start with, but I like it because the plan is if things go my way, I can take the bulk of my profits here and leave a decent chunk to run. And if a trend does form, as I'm expecting it to, I think we can come back to some of these areas here. So there's a long way to go if my bias does plan out. And even a small position could turn into a relatively decent sized position just by trading stops for a big swing like this. So I like pound Aussie because of that. The risk reward looks really good in the position. We've got that initial pop in our favor. And now we need to see how price develops at the moment. Finding support a little bit, moving a little bit sideways, but yeah, we'll see how price develops. There's not much we can do apart from just managing our positions. Some trades will go in your favor and you'll hit some home runs. Some trades you might initially go in your favor, then come back for break even. And of course, some trades will just be a fail altogether. We'll see which one this is. But yeah, nice move in our favor. Hopefully we can kind of pick up the pace a little bit. DAX on the 1 minute. Okay, it's been a while since I looked at the DAX on the 1 minute time frame, but we can take a look. Amos, I completely forgot about dollar yen. Apologies. Dollar yen was requested ages ago, but yeah, I'll take a look at dollar yen. Okay, so USD JPY. So yeah, if I do forget a pair, by the way, if it looks like I've forgotten to go for a pair, just drop it down in the chat and remind me. But yeah, for dollar yen, I'm pretty bearish with this one. So it does look like more downside is likely. I'm still looking at push to 140, which is basically massive support on the daily chart. If we zoom out, I'm looking at this as a target, which is just above 140, but 140 is the big psychological level. So that's kind of what I'm referring the level as. So 140 is my expectation. The reason being, we've been very consistent with these lower highs here. You can probably see it better if I drop to the 4-hour chart. But we've had these two kind of frantic up moves recently. One over here and second over there. Both tried to see some type of reversal, but momentum just basically halted. Especially with this previous move, we tried to rally, provided a big wick to the upside. Another lower high compared to that area. We came back within this range pretty quickly. And now I'm just looking for the continuation back into support. So I do still see dollar yen falling. We are coming back into support at the moment, which is this area here. So that's kind of where I'd watch out for. If I was short dollar yen from anywhere around here, this would be a pretty significant target for me. I probably would take a decent chunk at this low, just in case we do bounce again, because we have proven to bounce quite a lot at this area. But I would hold positions to run into that 140 area as well, because I do think there's a good chance we get there as well. But we are approaching support, so I wouldn't necessarily be looking to sell the market right now. We've already had a big drop. The market's a little bit stretched. We might bounce at support here. So I'll watch out for that. I am bearish, but in terms of looking to short the market, you probably want to see price rally again somehow back into resistance, really. And then take some shorts off the back of that. Or you can wait for a breaking retest of this low, but you probably want to drop right down to the lower time frames there. Makamu, you said you had the dollar yen position. Let me go through that. I'm going to sell, entered around 143.672. 143.672. I guess around there. First TP 142.586. I guess about there somewhere. And ideally would love to hold to 141.712. So that would be around there. Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting price to go even to 140. So 141.723 or 712. I would expect price to get there as well. How we get there is the question, because I expect price to get there, but we could still do something like this, before we get there as well. That's the awkward thing about especially FX pairs, is that trying to work out direction isn't too difficult. At the end of the day, it is 50-50. Price is either going to go up or down. But how we get there is always a bit tricky. Sometimes we consolidate. Sometimes we have a bigger pullback than expected. Sometimes price knocks us off the trade first and then continues in our direction. All of that could happen along the way as well. And that just comes back to how you want to manage the trade. But yeah, I would expect price to get to your level. Like I said, I do think we can go further as well. There is significant support here, which is kind of where your first take profit does lie. So I think that's a smart place to book profits, just in case we do react here and price does go against you. You know, you don't want to be in a position where you've already seen a nice move in your favor, give back all those profits, and maybe even take an unnecessary loss as well. I wouldn't say that's the best way to manage that kind of trade. You've already seen a healthy move in your direction. We're about to reach some very significant support. I would definitely look to book some partials here. How much? That's up to you. It could be 50%, it could be 20%, it could be 80%. So that's up to you how much you want to book, but I think that's a smart place to close some profits. And yeah, I would expect us to get there as well. But how we get there, we might bounce first and then push down. So that could happen too. Or we might just break through and continue falling as well. So you have to take that into consideration. But yeah, I'm pretty bearish on dollar yen. I think we can still keep falling. In terms of the 15-minute on dollar yen, again, I would still be bearish on this one as well. I would look for a pullback before getting into some shorts. I like the range here, brief range where price did consolidate for a few candles. Then we did rip to the downside with some nice momentum. If I was on the 15 trying to catch a nice piece of the pie, I'll look to see if I can catch a pullback into this area and a swing back into support. We are heading into very big support in the 4-hour chart, so I don't want to be selling into that. So I would like to see some type of pullback away from that level, and then I can use that as my target for the trade. That would make a lot more sense to me. So yeah, dollar yen still pretty bearish, expecting a bit more downside back into 142.5, 142.6. But a pullback into this zone would be nice. Perhaps even a retest of support here. Once, twice, retest of that would be nice as well. And then a continuation off the back of that. But yeah, dollar yen on the 15, just pull back some more shorts. That's really my expectation, but watch out for this support level. Don't want to be shorting directly into that. And I think that could be a smart place for a take profit potentially. So yeah, hopefully that made sense on dollar yen. Yen is becoming interesting. I'm starting to shift my bias with yen. I've been relatively weak. I've been expecting a weak yen. So we have been seeing a weak yen, but now I'm looking to shift that bias and starting to expect a strong yen. I'm looking at the yen basket. It looks to me like it's at a very pivotal point. And based on how prices are reacting, it looks like we're about to reverse. I'll go through that shortly, but yeah, I think we could be seeing a lot more yen strength coming into the market pretty soon. And of course, with dollar already being weak, that should give dollar yen a lot more downside. So yeah, 140 is still very much my expectation. We'll take a look at the DAX on the 1 minute for Anton. Stefan, GJ longs. Okay, we'll take a look at GJ as well. Rayan, new to Forex. Should I start with gold? Probably not, to be fair. Gold's definitely a hard hitter. I probably wouldn't recommend starting with gold because it's more of a volatile market. And as a beginner, your goal is to get up to speed, get comfortable trading, placing trades, taking losses, taking wins, managing positions, having a plan of action, following that plan, reviewing trades. And that's really what you want to be focusing on as a beginner trader. What market you trade isn't so important. You could start with gold if you wanted to, but there are kind of more beginner-friendly markets like Euro USD, a little bit slower, a little bit tidier with the price action because it's just more liquid. It's the most traded market there is, so the price action is going to be more pure. So I would recommend Euro USD as a great place to start. But yeah, you can look to trade gold if you want, but it's a little bit more fast paced, and especially if you're going to make mistakes as a beginner, which everyone does, it's more punishable, which I suppose will teach you some nice lessons as well. But yeah, I would recommend Euro USD. I think it's a bit more appropriate for a beginner. Tommy, Euro Yen, yes, we'll take a look as well. Yusuf, my man, what is up? Good morning, hope you're well. Welcome to the stream, hope you're doing good. Okay, so we'll go through DAX, and we'll take a look at GJ and Euro Yen as well. So last time I looked at the DAX, we're looking relatively bullish. Looks like we are retracing. So I'm liking what we're seeing with the DAX. I'm still very bullish on the DAX. I think we can still make our way back to the all-time highs. Looking on the higher time frames, I'm kind of looking at this as a pullback for us to continue going to the upside. If this is going to be our new higher low, then I'm expecting a drive back into the high and potentially a new higher high as well. So for the DAX, I did mention yesterday as a keep an eye on this area, especially an eye on this area here as well. Nice confluence, retesting the high, retesting this kind of area of demand. We did react, but it didn't really cause much of a move. Price did push into that area. Nice little wick, did give a slight reaction, but we are still pushing lower. Again, nothing to worry about. I would still be looking very, very bullish on the DAX here. It just looks like we're getting a slightly deeper pullback than anticipated. So still keeping a close eye to how we operate in these areas. At the moment, I like how we're pulling back. It's relatively slow. We picked up the pace here a little bit, but I quite like it because it's taking out some lows here, which maybe some early buyers will be getting into the market. They would have been liquidated. So if you can slow down, maybe a double bottom, some aggressive wicks, I think this is a smart place for a buy. Another push back into that high, and then probably a push back into the all-time high as well. So nothing's changed with the DAX. Still very bullish. Still seeing consistent higher highs and higher lows. Still treating this bearish move here as another pullback. We're coming into a very healthy level of support. So naturally looking to buy from here makes a load of sense to me. Expecting a drive back into highs and then possibly all-time highs as well. As for the 1 minute chart for the DAX, I mean, things look very bearish, so I probably would still have a bearish bias. On second thought, I probably wouldn't actually. We've just taken out these lows and we're looking very, very corrective even on the 1 minute chart. So I'd actually probably be getting ready for some buys here as we start to slow down. Maybe some higher highs and higher lows step in. Try and see if I can capitalize on some of these swings. So to me, the 1 minute chart looks like it's getting tired. I wouldn't be really interested with selling anymore. I'll be more interested with the buys. So I would wait for structure to point in my favor again. So some higher highs and higher lows, some breakup structures, of course, and then trying to find, pull back a high low somewhere. And this would be a smart trade to take, and a trade which I think can go pretty far as well. So yeah, the DAX, I feel like it's at an area which we can turn around on the 1 minute chart. Still pretty bearish right now, so be careful. I think we can probably still see a bit more downside momentum still with the bears, but judging how we're moving, it looks like a low is going to form soon, and a push higher up is what I'm expecting. Okay, so we'll go through the yen pairs. We'll go through GJ and Euro yen. I'll take a look at the yen basket as well, because that is looking very interesting to me. What's up, Matter? What is up? Hope you're well. Hey, that's great to hear. Used the course, it was so helpful. When do you start trading price action? Well, as soon as I started, really. That's what I was introduced to when I started trading. So right at the beginning of my trading journey, I've always been trading price action. But I'm glad to find that you enjoyed the course, found it useful. That is great to hear. David, appreciate it, my man. Thank you for the kind message. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like on the stream. It does really help out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. It does help grow the channel as well. And of course, you can stay tuned with more updates with the channel. And of course, hit the bell too so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. But yeah, thank you so much for the kind message. So yeah, in terms of the yen, I will start with the yen basket quickly. Then we'll go through Euro yen and pound yen. But yeah, I'm looking at the yen basket here, and I'm like, okay, it looks to me that we are forming a higher low, and I'm looking to see if we can run back to highs here. I'm still not convinced that the yen is going to suddenly plummet back to lows here. I don't think that's the likely move. I still think the likely move is a continuation to the upside and a break of all of this resistance here. It has proven to be a very sturdy resistance, once, twice, a third time, and a fourth. But I still think the likely move is a break of that area, or at least another drive towards that zone. By the way, this is the yen basket, which is just basically the yen against multiple other currencies, Aussie, CAD, Euro, Pound, and it just gauges how the yen is performing against those other currencies. If this is going up, it means that the yen is relatively strong compared to other currencies. So if the yen is strong, that means all the yen pairs should be heading down. And if this is heading down, that means yen is relatively weak compared to other currencies, major currencies, and the yen pair should be heading up. So this is inversely correlated to the yen pairs. But at the moment, I like how we're kind of operating. We've kind of just wicked through support here. It's the weekly chart, by the way, but you can see price was forming a lot of support here with these wicks. We just about pierced the low of the support with last week's candle, and it looks like momentum is kicking in this week. I'm looking at the daily chart, I'm looking at the 4-hour chart, I'm liking how we're operating. This move as a whole has been very, very corrective on the way down. And as I say about corrective moves, they're just normally corrective moves. They're just normally pullbacks for price to see momentum in the opposite direction. So when I do see a corrective move, I'm normally always trying to get ready for the reversal, because that's likely the move and likely the bigger move as well. This type of behavior is not a healthy trend. The market's not seeing clean swing lows and healthy bearish legs. It's very corrective. You're seeing big bullish legs as well. No overall momentum. So I do think the yen is getting ready to break to the upside. It might have already started to break to the upside as well. The fact that we're breaking out this consolidation here, this might be the start of it. But I do think the yen has a lot more upside here. I've been pretty bearish on the yen, still looking for more downside. But I've been looking at the higher time frames. I've analyzed it a couple times. I'm looking at yen gaining strength here. So taking that into consideration, heading over to euro yen, I do think euro yen can see some downside as well. However, euro yen's had such a big breakout. I'm still quite bullish on this one, but I will be looking for a bigger pullback for euro yen. I like this zone over here, and I think this is a smart place to potentially anticipate some buys. Whether this is going to give us a big run to highs or not, that's a different question. I think it's a smart place for a reaction, and maybe a trade for a day or two. Whether it's going to be the bigger swing, I'm not too sure. Now that I'm looking at the yen basket, it looks like I can be expecting a lot more yen strength. It's going to be very difficult for euro yen to push up if yen is going to be strong. I did mention this area here yesterday. I'm kind of backing away from this area. I did say I like the look of this area, but looking at how the yen is looking at that, we are still failing at highs quite a lot here. I'm no longer so interested about this zone, and I'm more focused about this area, this last down move here before the rally to the upside. I'm also just focused at the high here for the retest, but I do like the look of a bigger pullback into this zone, potentially some buys here. We'll see how far they go. I think this is a smart place for a buy. 165 looks good. So with euro yen, I do think price is slowing down, and we could be seeing a bit of a pullback pretty soon. I'm looking at how price is moving. This looks pretty corrective to me as well. So I do think we are going to see a push down soon for euro yen. Of course, things are still pretty bullish. I wouldn't suggest looking to short it outright. I think if you are going to try and catch some shorts here, it's a bit of an aggressive trade. Momentum is not in your favor yet. There is no bearish structure at play either. So I wouldn't be looking to short the market. What I would say though, on the lower time frames, let's say if we do continue to consolidate and then price does give us a strong break to the downside, something like this, I think that could lead into some nice pullback opportunities and probably a retest of that range. And that could be a nice trade there, somewhat of like a head and shoulder pattern almost. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, neckline, so on and so forth. So that could be a nice trade idea there. But of course, we're a long way away from that. Need price to give a strong breakout, find the retest, and then some shorts afterwards. But yeah, for euro yen, I do think some downside is likely. Of course, the market's still bullish right now, so we need to wait for that to develop before shorting. I'm not interested in the buys. We are quite stretched. We'll be going on for quite a while. Like I said, I would like to see a bigger pullback before I do talk about buys again. And my zone of interest will be 165, which we're quite far away from. So until we get there, I'm not going to really speak about any big buys for euro yen. I'm sure in the lower time frames, there'll be some shorter term buying opportunities, as there always is. But I actually like the idea of taking euro yen lower here. I'd wait for that breakout to happen first, of course. And something like this could follow. And then from a long bias, I'd wait for 165. So that's kind of how I'm looking at euro yen now. In terms of pound yen, I still do like the buys, to be honest, at support. I'm personally not going to trade it because my yen bias is shifting. So me buying pound yen does go against what I'm expecting for the yen now. But this is still very much a solid level of 4-hour resistance, which is now turned into 4-hour support. So if we can react well, I think this is still a nice place for a buy. So I do agree with that. But I'm looking at the yen. I do think yen will be strong. I could be wrong, of course. I'm not a fortune teller, but I've just got to play with probability and play into my analysis. If my analysis says this, then I'll be a fool to do something else. So with pound yen, I think it's a smart place for a buy. 196.250. Keep an eye on that. Let's see how we react. If we do see some healthy rejection, great. I think that's a nice place for a buy. And targets back into swing high. Keep it simple. There is this level up here just shy of 200. That could be a nice secondary target as well. But for the most part, we're still very consistent with these higher lows. And if we are going to continue to do another one, that's what I expect it to form. So let's see how price does react. If we do go and break through and see a strong move down like this, then I would anticipate this to be a fake out. Then perhaps we are ready to see a bit of a sell-off for pound yen. And then this would be an opportunity which I'll be interested to short. So a strong move down, back into lows. Let's find a pullback, lower high, then take the shorts. That would be a nice selling opportunity. But again, we're at least a week away from that forming. So not going to speak too much on that because a lot can happen in a week. But yeah, buys for now still look good. Let's see how price reacts with this level. That will make or break the trade really. If of course we break through the level, then there is no trade for us. But if you do see some healthy rejection, I think some buys could look good there for a couple of days. But like I said, my yen bias is shifting, so I am staying on my toes with the yen. Okay, so BTC, Rafael will take a look, no problemo. We can go through that. No problem matter, happy to help. The day in life vlog. It's been a while since I've done that. Yeah, I'll probably do one pretty soon. I've got an interesting idea for one coming up. So yeah, do stay tuned for that. But yeah, I mean, if that's something you want to see, I might do like a poll on the channel for like video ideas. And yeah, I guess if day in life is what you guys are interested in, we could get that going. Asim, good morning, my man. Hope you're well. Pound CAD, Euro Aussie. Okay, Euro Aussie, something I'm looking to trade myself. Actually, it's on the watch list. I'm keeping a close eye on for that. It's not quite ready yet to be traded, but it's something I'm keeping a close eye on. What's up, Holy One? Welcome to the stream. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Hope you're well. Good to see you on the stream, my man. Hope you're doing good. Open-minded coding, what's up? How's the week going so far? Not bad. I'm currently short on pound Aussie. That's the only trade for the week so far, which is in a bit of profit, but momentum is starting to slow down. So I'm kind of hoping to see we can pick up the pace again. I have gone break even here, so worst case scenario, we do get trailed out for a break even. Best case scenario, price reverses in my direction and we see hopefully a move back into the lows there. But so far, this is the only trade I've entered. I'm keeping a close eye on Euro Aussie. I like the look of that one. Yen pairs are starting to look interesting as well. I think I missed CAD Yen. That was a trade for last week, but I missed the entry for that one. But maybe the other yen pairs could set up. But yeah, Euro Aussie is looking good, so hopefully I might find something there. But yeah, only pound Aussie so far. I mean, it is only Tuesday. But update on fund account. Nice. 1.6. Good to hear. Received successful withdrawal. Nice. Congratulations. Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it, my man. Keep it short and sweet. Make the profit withdraw. That way you're kind of keeping things slow. Of course, everyone wants to have that big payout, but most people that will go for big payouts probably do lose their account in the next month. So I know I'd rather have the more consistent payouts and keep the account as long as possible. And grow with those accounts, add more accounts to it, and just have those small, consistent payouts rather than go for the big jugular and then lose the account the next month. Then you have to do the whole thing again to go and pass another challenge and get another account. It's just, I think, in terms of time, it serves you better just to be small and consistent. But good to hear. Keep it up, my man. That's what I like to hear. Follow the trend. What is up? Hope you're well. Malik, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. That's good to hear, Holly One. Okay, nice. Just waiting on my pound CAD buy to go a little higher. Okay. Yeah, pound CAD has been pretty bullish. Okay, so we'll go through pound CAD and Euro Aussie. Of course, any requests, put it in the chat and we can take a look. Nice. Good, man. Good to hear. Okay, so pound CAD. So yeah, pound CAD's been pretty bullish, very bullish last week. Big run to the upside, cleared the highs out as well. Yeah, pound CAD's not really a pair I'm looking at the moment. The way I see it, the market, especially from a swing bias as well. If I wanted to be in a buy for this one, I should have been in a buy a long time ago, at lows here. Of course, hindsight is a wonderful thing, but I'm not going to be looking to buy here. Of course, I understand intraday, looking to gauge momentum, that's something else. But from a swing perspective, not the best time to be doing business. So I'm kind of just waiting to see what pound CAD's next move is. Are we looking to break resistance here? Is the trend still got life to it? If that's the case, if we can see more momentum, yeah, some pullbacks could look good, and trying to catch the next wave would make a lot of sense. If price starts to fail at resistance here and we look pretty bearish afterwards, maybe form some lower highs, maybe go and take up this low, that would make me pretty bearish on the pair. The fact that we've been bullish for quite a long means we're quite overextended. So if we do start to look bearish, it could actually be the start of a pretty big downturn. So I am very interested with shorting pound CAD, but it's way too early to mention that. So yeah, pound CAD, I don't really have a clear-cut opportunity just yet. It's very much a pair I'm not really concerned with this week. But I'll be keeping an eye out for opportunities. I like the reversal opportunity because I think there's a big move to be had. But like I said, we're not there yet. Some people might be looking to short the highs here because we're back at resistance again. That, of course, does make sense, but it's a very aggressive trade. Momentum is against you. Pretty much all the higher time frames are against you in this position as well. The level could hold, but I wouldn't say probability is necessarily heavily in your favor. So I think shorts are a bit aggressive. I'd rather wait for price to develop, give me some bearish structure, and find a lower high somewhere on the way down. I don't have to be the first person into the market. In fact, I don't want to be the first person into the market. That's normally the person who gets run over, so I don't want to be there. But yeah, in terms of momentum, things are still bullish. Like I said, we could very much run through the high. If that's the case, let's see some momentum above this level here. Then perhaps some pullbacks could look good. Of course, this has been a pretty big level of resistance, but if we do see a strong break, it will be turned into support, and there could be some nice buying opportunities off the back of that. So it really depends what pound CAD's going to do. Like I said, I don't really have a clear-cut bias or clear-cut idea just yet, so just waiting for more information. But yeah, there's nothing quite there yet for me. Euro Aussie, like I said, this is a pair which I'm looking at heavily now. I'm looking at shorts for Euro Aussie, kind of the same idea as pound Aussie. I am short on pound Aussie, and of course Euro Aussie, pound Aussie, very similar pairs. But I'm kind of looking to see if I can really exploit this opportunity, because pound Aussie and Euro Aussie 8 times out of 10 normally do the same thing. So if pound Aussie is going to drop in my favor, there's probably a good chance Euro Aussie is going to follow suit. And now because pound Aussie's break even, there's no risk on that pair for me anymore. So I can take this fresh opportunity with Euro Aussie, even though both trades will probably pan out the same way. But if it does pan out the same way, that's kind of double the reward, essentially. So I like the idea of shorting Euro Aussie. In terms of the analysis, basically what I'm looking at is that we've had this frantic move to the upside. We've taken out major highs recently. Market's way stretched. I'm kind of looking at similar to what happened during COVID. Market was very stretched. We came straight back down. I'm kind of looking at something like that happening. Maybe not to the extent, of course, it was driven a lot fundamentally by COVID. But I do think we can see something similar. Even if the bigger move is to the upside, I do think Euro Aussie can at least see another move back into the lows here. So I'm looking at a pullback of this move here. We have come back into some resistance here on the daily chart, and we're starting to lose momentum, starting to become quite corrective. So I'm looking for a lower high here to develop and a swing back into the lows. Risk reward looks really good. So I do like the idea of this position. I know the market at the moment is pretty bullish. We're still seeing higher highs and higher lows. So don't get me wrong, intraday things are bullish, and looking for buying opportunities based off that makes sense. But I think the bigger move is with the swing, and as a swing trader, that's where I want to be. So it's all about timing really, because again, I could be wrong as well. Price may want to continue to push higher. Maybe it does want to push back to highs, but judging off my analysis, I would say a swing lower is the likely move. Like I said, we are testing some interesting resistance right now on the daily chart, mainly with those wicks there. As we can see, a strong push down, well, there again. You can see the daily chart is starting to stall, a lot of wicks there on the daily as well. So I'm basically looking to see if we can get some strength with the bears, a nice shift, maybe a nice double top potentially. That would be my entry signal, stops above the level, and then see if I can swing it back into lows here. Of course, I'll manage the trade along the way. It won't be a situation where I just short and just hope for the best. If momentum's going well, but then suddenly I'm seeing signs of reversal, I will cut the trade, call it a day, move on to the next position. But if things go well and momentum stays in my favor, then yeah, I will hold on all the way to lows. But yeah, Euro Aussie, definitely a pair I'm keen to short. I'm pretty bearish on this one. A lot of the crosses really I'm pretty bearish on. So Euro Aussie, Euro NZD, Pound Aussie, Pound NZD, those four very similar markets. I do expect big sells for them. So I mean, from an intraday point of view, I did mention some buys here last week because of course we had that strong move. I said there could be some buys around this zone here for a long back into highs. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. We did see a push up, but didn't quite get into that area. I wouldn't be looking to buy from here anymore. You can see how corrective we've been on the way up now. So yeah, just basically looking for momentum to shift in my favor. An entry signal, stops above the high. I do think a big swing back into 1.725 is looking like a likely move. But yeah, that's really where I'm at with Euro Aussie. So where was I? Follow the trend, dollar seat chef. Really tempting for long-term buys. But dollar's weaker than Zimbabwean money right now. If dollar's weaker than Zimbabwean money, then now's time to buy the low, because that is very weak. Yeah, dollar seat chef. I'm not tempted personally to buy dollar seat chef. It's looking extremely bearish. Actually, I need to see how far we've fallen really, because I've had some monthly targets for this one. I'm not too sure if we're actually there yet. Are we? More or less, we are there. So, yeah, I mean, you would expect to see a pretty big pullback at some stage for dollar seat chef. So I do agree with that logic. I mean, the market's not going to stay bearish forever. Typically in FX, even if the trend is flowing aggressively, we are going to put a low in at some point. We are going to have a bigger pullback at some point. But I'd rather not be the first person into the market. Like I mentioned earlier, I think the first person to try and guess where that low is going to form or guess where that high is going to form, more often than not, unless you got some really deep pockets and some big stop losses and can stomach some heavy drawdown, is more often getting burnt than not. So I'd rather be, the second, third person into the trade where I've already seen some signs that says, okay, buyers are stepping in, maybe structure starting to shift, and then I can look to get in. Still taking some aggressive positions, because I think that's where a lot of risk reward opportunities are, taking more aggressive trades. Within reason, of course, but I never really want to be the first person to try and guess where a low is. So when a market is still continuously falling, I let that fall, because it's very difficult to try and guess where the low is forming. Even when we are coming into big levels of support, price can often break slightly through it and then rally. But I can see the appeal. Dollar CHF is very oversold, very stretched. It's likely to pull back at some point, but yeah, difficult to see where that low is going to be. Menchie, what's up? Hope you're well. Aussie Seed Chef, okay, we'll take a look. Haven't looked at it yet. Otherwise, rewatch, no worries, mate. I haven't actually looked at it yet, so I can go through Aussie Seed Chef for you. Yeah, Seed Chef has been. Any chance we could see some counter trends on Euro Seed Chef longs? I've been looking for counter trend moves for Seed Chef pairs for a while. Haven't really seen that. To be honest. I'm still expecting it, but at this rate, I have no idea when it's going to come into play. Malik re-entered dollar CAD shorts. Okay, nice. That's good. Dollar CAD's been looking pretty bearish since then. But oil, my man, just decided not to go either direction since I entered. Yeah, it's been so flat. Should I hold the oil position, being that my confidence is still valid? It's a situation where you could say yes, you should hold the position, because if there is no loss in confidence, or there's no situation where what got you into the trade is now invalid, if everything's still valid, you should still hold the position. Yeah, again, some people do exit trades early if it does consolidate against them, because they're like, okay, it hasn't ripped in my favor. But those traders normally rely on momentum quite a lot. If you rely on momentum quite a lot, then yeah, you probably do want to exit the trade, because your expectation when you get into the trade is that pretty much soon after I should see momentum in my favor. If that's no longer the case, then you should get out, because the idea is not there. If you have the mentality that, okay, I'm buying from a level or from a set confluence that I'm expecting price to hold and rally from, well, until that set confluence, until that level is broken, then you should remain in the position, because your expectation is still valid. So I would suggest exit the position if you rely a lot on momentum. If momentum isn't really something you're looking for, it's just, okay, I want price to hold this area and go up, then yeah, remain in the position. I rely a bit of 50-50. I do have levels where I'm like, okay, I don't want price to break through this, but I also do rely a bit on momentum as well. When I get into a trade, I do want price to push my favor pretty soon after. If it does consolidate quite a lot against me, I can close trades early. Oh yeah, Raphael, I forgot to go through BTC for you. I'll go through that. Sophia, how many bloodbath years before you can say it's consistently profitable? What do you mean? Do you mean like how much pain do you have to go through before you can say you're profitable? Okay, how many years? I wouldn't say necessarily years, to be honest. I would say if you can string together a decent 6 months, I would say you got a good foundation there. You have to understand that profitability isn't just a straight line. It's not like, okay, I'm profitable and my equity curve is just going to be up like this. Absolutely not. Some of the best traders will have 6 month spells where the equity curve is either flat or actually at a slight decline. I've had back-to-back losing months multiple times, and my equity curve has been pointing down as well. But of course, the overall picture, which is what represents profitability, this is normally a dip within an uptrend. So I wouldn't say necessarily years. I mean, you can say years. Years will give you a lot of confidence if you're making money for 3 years. I would say yeah, definitely you're profitable at that point. But I would say if you could string together a decent 6 months, that's really what you should be targeting. If you can get a decent 6 months together, I would say you got a good foundation. And again, profitability is not something that you just come across and you just got it forever. You have to keep maintaining that. You have to keep earning the right to be profitable. It's not a situation where, okay, I'm profitable forever. Definitely not the case. I've gone through things where I've been doing very, very well, got too overconfident, and then giving back a lot of my gains. So it's something you have to always maintain. But if you can do consistent, you can follow consistency for a good 6 months, have a general up curve in your equity curve, then yeah, you should be good to go. BTC is looking bearish. BT's looking bearish. It looks like we are forming that third lower high there. We talked about this yesterday. I said keep an eye out for this. We did see some rejection, and this to me looks like a lower high is forming. And if that is a lower high, that should take us back to lows pretty much. It's not looking good for BTC, I must admit. We're fading at the previous highs, of course. We've had a couple rallies, but haven't really amounted to much. One over there came straight back down. Second over there came straight back down. Looks like the third one might repeat that as well. We did see a very strong reaction last week or the week before. Momentum's dried up, and I think we're likely to roll back over and return to support here. So yeah, BTC to me looks like actually nice shorting opportunity. Now that price is actually breaking out of support here, or looks like it's about to break support there as well. So I do think BTC's got a drop to be had. If you're looking for entries, ideally you want to be up at the high, but let's say if we do see a nice break, there might be some retest opportunities on the lower time frames as well. Yeah, preferably I want to be up high because I want to get my stop loss in this kind of territory. But yeah, I do see BTC continuing to fall, and expectation we get pushed to 99k, maybe even a lot further as well. You know, this could be the start of a pretty big bearish move for BTC, but we'll give it the benefit of the doubt because we did have a similar move over here. You can see the lower highs price was putting in. It did turn out just to be a very prolonged correction, and then price eventually rallied. We might do something like that over here as well. So it might just be a situation where we have like a very prolonged correction, and maybe we see a bullish move. Of course, that's a long way away from now, but for at the moment, I do think we can push down. Okay, so where was I? Okay, so we'll go through Aussie CHF, we'll take a look at Euro CHF, we'll go through dollar CAD as well. JBTC, not BTC, we just went through BTC. Gold, I'll take a look as well. Completely forgot which pair. Okay, Aussie CHF. So Aussie Swiss, a pair which I have been looking to buy. I've taken a couple buys myself, 2 break evens unfortunately. I've been looking for price to rally back at least into this area, primarily because this is where a lot of the momentum came from early in the year, but we had that massive sell-off. So I've been looking to take some buys to try and trade it back into that zone. I had a buy over here, I believe, went in my favor, but I got taken out, break even. Not this move, it was this move that took me out, break even. Then I had another buy over here, went in my favor a little bit, but then went against me, break even there as well. So I just haven't really seen the momentum really with Aussie CHF. Seen some nice upside, but nothing really substantial. And now we are been looking pretty bearish. We have been looking pretty bearish. Consistent lower lows and lower highs. Still creating new lows as we speak. This is a very corrective move, I must admit. So it does give me the impression that this might just be a correction for us to continue higher. And I sort of still believe that's the case. We could very much be heading back to lows here. Definitely want to not rule that out the bag. That can very much still happen, but I'm not interested in selling Aussie CHF. Number one, the market is pretty much coming from all-time lows, so I would never really look to try and continue to sell that. I would always expect the bigger move to be the opposite move. So I do have a bullish bias primarily from that, but also we're very corrective on the way down. So even if I wanted to sell, there is no kind of clear-cut trend that makes sense to follow. Market's very corrective, not seeing much momentum. I do feel like the bigger move is the upside still, but things still look pretty bearish. We're still taking out lows until we see some healthy rejection coming in, maybe some type of double bottom to confirm support is holding. You know, I would refrain from buying Aussie CHF and being very careful of that. But I do think that's the bigger move. I'm still looking at push to 0.55, but the buys are just not here yet at all. There could even still be some selling opportunities at the higher end of this channel, and we might see another wave there. So yeah, things still look pretty bearish for Aussie CHF. Long term, I do think there's a big move to be had to the upside, but as we still stay with these lower highs, you know, these look like favorable opportunities for now. I'm not interested for the reason I just mentioned. All-time lows, very corrective trend, not something I want to follow. But yeah, the buy's not quite here yet. But yeah, CHF has been quite strong. I've been looking for a more weak CHF. That hasn't really happened yet. Euro CHF is another one of those CHF pairs where I'm expecting a pretty big move to the upside. But again, hasn't really happened yet. One of the reasons why I'm favoring that is because we've been dancing at support here for quite a while. We've seen numerous rejections of this level. This is the weekly chart, by the way. You can see we had the initial rejection over there. Again over there, again over there, again over there. So it's been proven to be a very solid level of support. I do think the market is quite tired. We've been trending to the downside for a while. We've swept out some major lows over here. Last time we did that, you can see how big of a pullback we had. I'm expecting something similar for Euro CHF in recent weeks or months, to be fair. It could probably still be quite a while before we do that. But I do think a big up move could be forming. But yeah, if I'm going to trade that, I need to see some momentum in my favor. The key takeaway right now is that Euro CHF is in some horrendous consolidation right now. So if I'm going to look to buy Euro CHF, first thing I want to see is a strong break higher. If I can see momentum breaking to the upside out of this range, well, that will prove to me that, okay, support is well and truly holding. Now we've got some buyers stepping into the market, momentum's looking good. Then some pullbacks afterwards would make sense, perhaps a retest of the range, and I'll be more than happy to pick up some longs there. Maybe we go and drive back to highs up here. And that will be a nice trade to take. Anything in here is a bit 50-50. We might break lower as well. You know, support is holding out, doesn't have to hold. We can break through that still. So something like this is quite important if I'm going to get into a buy. But yeah, I've been looking for some counter moves for a while for Euro CHF. It's just been in a consolidation for quite a few months since the end of April. So it hasn't really budged, really. Not seeing much of an opportunity, to be honest. CAD CHF, we'll take a look at that one. Dre mentioned that earlier. We'll take a look. I entered for buys this morning on support level. Okay. Haven't actually looked at CAD CHF yet, but we'll go through that one. Yusuf, okay, glad to have you back. Bought some gold for while yesterday, okay. Asked you 32.62 level, what you call it, bull, if it breaks 33.50 level in the 4 hour. Yeah, I'll go through gold. Gold's looking very interesting, very strong up move. I was not expecting that, but it has happened. I'm still pretty bearish on gold. We'll go through the analysis and I'll explain why I'm still bearish. But yeah, I wasn't expecting such a powerful push on gold. Lighter, my man, I hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, USD is absolutely tanking. It's absolutely tanking. I think it will form a bottom soon, but again, I'm not going to try and find out for trade. I'll wait for the market to form a low. I'm not going to try and jump into a moving train. Yes, we'll go through USDZAR as well. Let me go through CAD CHF before I do forget. If I can spell it correctly, that would help. Okay, so CAD Swiss bought at support this morning. Is it this support level you bought from? I mean, this morning price has already kind of broken through that. But yeah, CAD CHF, again, the buy is difficult. It's the same situation as I mentioned with like Aussie CHF and which pair was it? Dollar CHF. It's a market which is basically just making new all-time lows. I'm pretty sure these are new all-time lows. Let me go to the monthly chart. Yeah, this goes back to 1982. So past 50 years, we haven't been lower than now. And yeah, this could be the all-time low for the market. So the market is extremely bearish right now. Trend is down, momentum is down. So buying at support in these conditions isn't favorable. You know, the probability isn't in your favor. Support is, of course, a good basic to have. If you want to buy a market, you want to be at support. But you have to take into consideration market trend and momentum as well. And just what price is doing on higher time frames. Because sometimes you can go counter trend and it makes sense to go counter trend, but not in this case where pretty much monthly, weekly, daily, all the major time frames are pointing against you. You're kind of hoping for a miracle to catch the low of it, really, especially with an intraday trade. So yeah, CAD CHF is very bearish. It could still keep falling. I do agree with the long bias. I do think that's where the bigger move will be, or at least the sharper move will be, because it's going to pull back at some point. It's not going to continuously falling at all-time lows because there won't be, many people to sell it anymore, or the big players who've been shorting CAD CHF will be looking to take profit now and book and close some of their positions, which by default will cause buyers to enter the market, and we should see some type of recovery pretty soon. So I like the idea of going long for CAD CHF, but it's just a bit too aggressive. I'd wait for price to develop and start to put some higher highs and higher lows in. Then yeah, sure, I can find some buys later on to take advantage of, and we can speak about some targets. But yeah, I would be careful with buying CAD Swiss. It's extremely bearish, ripping through lows. It might pull back now. It might still want to drop 200 pips before it pulls back. Difficult to gauge where. I'll wait for structure to be printed first, and then we can speak about catching some swing lows. But yeah, it's very, very difficult. Okay, so we'll go through gold next, and then I'll take a look at USD for Lighten. How to deal with down months when everything about trading is probability. I mean, that's kind of how you would deal with it, really, Yusuf. Kind of treating the down months as just probability, because you're not going to have up months forever. Depending on how you trade, you might have more up months than other people. Some people who are a bit more longer term trading will have a bit more down months, but will have bigger up months. But yeah, it's all probability. Just like with a trade, it's probability it could win or fail. Kind of like the month as well. Your month could be green or could be red. I think the best way to deal with it in terms of your trading approach is have caps for how much you could lose in a given period. Whether it's a day, a week, or a month, or a quarter even, have that cap in play. Let's say if it's like 5R, that means the max loss you could take in a month is 5R. Which means everything can be managed. If you have kind of like sporadic results where, okay, I make 2R this month, I lose 3R the next month, I make 17R the next month, I lose 36R the next month after that, your equity curve is going to be looking insane. You want to have a relatively smooth one. Of course, there'll be ups and downs, but you want to have a relatively smooth one. And having caps on your losses for every given period of time does allow you to manage it a little bit better mentally, because the worst case scenario is 5R or 3R or whatever R you decide for you. In terms of mentally, you just got to think in terms of probability, really, which is easier said than done, but you got to have the probabilistic mindset that, okay, every month's going to be profitable, but I understand that I have an edge here, and I don't really want to focus too much on the result of the month, because that doesn't define me as a trader. I could make money this month, lose next month, but because of the risk reward, that could still very much cover the losing month. So the losing month doesn't have too much of a say in terms of my trajectory. So yeah, keep the losses small, think long term. If you're down this month, you're not really too concerned about that. You're more concerned with how do I finish out the year. So have a long-term bias of your trading. And yeah, think probability. You will have losing months, you will have losing trades, of course. And you want to take them on the chin. And the best thing you can do is review. Look over your trades. Was there mistakes made? If there was, address them. If there wasn't, it's probably just that the market was in your favor that month, which of course will happen. But it's something you gain more experience as you trade. You go through tough spells. It makes you stronger, and you improve like that. I think that's the best way to get through it, really, just experiencing it and getting through it, to be honest. But those are some tips to consider. We'll go through USD and gold. If I have missed out here, let me know. So yeah, USD looking very bearish this morning again. How did we close on the daily chart? Okay, so we didn't break through support. We closed into it. But of course, today's candle we are breaking below. As I've said, I'm pretty bearish on USD. I do think we can fall a lot further. I'm looking for a push back into this swing low. I did say yesterday if we are going to push to the downside and we're ready to fall, then I want to see price really rip through this area. And my focus would be on the retest of this kind of weird range here. We have been consolidating for a bit here. And if price does have a solid break through that, well, that would become a nice area for a retest and a nice area to position, position short and look for some selling opportunities. So yeah, USDs are very bearish, but of course I wouldn't short now. We're still roughly at support. I need to see evidence of price breaking through. Then I need that discount. I need that pullback back into an area of resistance, an area of supply, which this would be, and then we can monitor price, how we react and sell from there. But at the moment, it looks like the bears are still in control of USDs. Haven't seen that overwhelming reaction to the upside. That double bottom didn't hold. And now it looks like we're about to break lower. So if we can keep that up, hopefully some pullbacks can set up, and I'll expect more downside. In terms of gold, I am still bearish from this one. I didn't expect such an aggressive pullback, I must say. Price has been pretty bullish. It still is pretty bullish right now. I'm not looking at, let me just clean up the chart a little bit. I'm not looking at this high here on the left as being a very pivotal high. I'm looking at this as being the pivotal high. Sometimes the market will kind of fake a high, use it to its advantage and continue. So I'm looking at this as my pivotal high. If price was to break above that, then yes, I would get rid of that bearish bias. Probably wouldn't necessarily become bullish straight away. I'll probably be a bit more neutral, to be honest, because I probably would just view gold as a big kind of range at this point. I mean, it is a range already, but even more of one. So yeah, if we do break above this high at 33.91, I would scrap the bearish bias. But of course, we haven't done that yet. I'm still remaining bearish. Basically, what I'm looking at is a V-shaped pattern. We've had a very impulsive sell followed by a very impulsive buy. So essentially what I'm looking at now for gold is a pullback and some more upside. And I'm expecting price to come back into this zone, an area of supply. And this is, of course, the area which gave us that initial drop. So I'm looking to see how we react here. If I can see some strong rejection, double tops, maybe aggressive wicks, maybe nice momentum shift, so a big bearish engulfing candle can form, I think that'll be a very nice area to be looking to get short. And the plan back to a swing low, back to these lows is just still underway. So this is kind of where I'm looking for that lower high to form around 33.70. I'm personally going to keep a close eye on it. I like the setup, especially with all this momentum, because this momentum will throw people off. It's very, very bullish right now. People might be getting excited, buying into that. It looks awkward. It is awkward, but I like it because it's challenging and it potentially causes people to panic buy with the fear of missing out on a run for gold. And there will probably be a lot of early sellers here, which would have been liquidated now with that big bullish move. So early sellers are out the way. Probably some more sellers here, probably get them out the way as well. Come back into this area. If I see some healthy rejection, I'll get into the trade knowing that, okay, I'm probably one of the last sellers to get into the trade here. So if it does play out, I'm getting in where people are getting out, really. So it's a premium place to get involved. I'm right at the high, so if it does fail and price break structure, I'll take the loss and walk away. I was never in the right direction anyway, but I'm happy with this location and I'm happy with the potential risk reward I could get as well. So I like kind of what I'm seeing here with gold. So yeah, for me to be bullish, it does need to take out this high on the 4-hour chart. In terms of the lower time frames, I do think there could be some nice buys in the meantime though, because of this kind of V-shaped pattern here. I would say if the market does actually pull back like this, it could form some type of inverse head and shoulder pattern. Maybe come back and test some support there. That could be a nice higher low. And that could be a nice buy back into resistance. And then we start monitoring the sell ideas. And then maybe we have that sell off. Maybe we don't. Maybe we rally through. And I become a bit more neutral on the pair. But in terms of the buy idea, I think there's some nice buys now based on this V-shaped pattern. Impulse, correction. Now expecting the continuation. So I would suggest keep an eye if you are looking to buy around 33.14. But sell bias 33.70, 33.80 is where I'm looking to get involved. And yeah, I'm going to see how that does pan out. But that's where I'm at for gold. It's an awkward one, I must admit. I'm not going to lie. It really depends how we react to that zone. If we go and break through the zone, yeah, I'll back away. If I see a strong reaction, I'll take some sells. Ain't no problem. Tony Gold, happy to help, my man. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It does really help out. I do really appreciate everyone who has liked so far. And of course, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Pavinator, my man, welcome to the stream. Happy Tuesday, right back at you. Hope you're well. Aussie dollar looks like it's, yeah, we've had some moves with Aussie dollar now going up into your short sell. Yeah, I'm keeping a close eye on Aussie dollar. NAS 100, I will take a look at as well. But yeah, Aussie, I'm keeping a close eye. We're very close to the upper end of that channel. Just need to see a little bit more upside and then we can get excited, or at least I can get excited. But yeah, we've been in this corrective channel forever. We had this fake out to the downside, which in hindsight has been a glorious fake out. Very, very corrective, spilled over, quick recovery, and now price has been trending pretty well. So now I want to see how we operate at the high of the channel. We've had a couple rejections of the high. It's given us some nice sells back into the low end of the channel. I'm simply looking for the same move back into the low. We'll go from there. Maybe price gives us the breakout. Maybe we push to 0.62. Or maybe we respect the low of the channel again and rally back to highs, and we'll reanalyze from then onwards. But this is really the interest for me. And of course, there's a world where we do break through this and perhaps have a bigger move. And if that's the case, I want to make sure that I do monitor price action well. And if we are seeing some signs of breaking out, I don't want to get in the way of that. But if I can see some healthy rejection there, I'm just looking to try and catch the high of the channel for some shorts. So Aussie dollar, a pair on the watch list, keeping a close eye on. Still relatively bullish right now. I'll keep an eye on the DXY as well, because it is kind of, it's going to rely a lot on the DXY. If dollar is still falling away, I might have to be a bit more careful with the shorts there for Aussie, because if USD is going to be weak, it's going to be very difficult for Aussie dollar to see some downside. But if I can see support forming, rejection, wicks, alongside with some rejection with Aussie dollar, then yeah, it could actually be a very nice idea. So keeping a close eye on Aussie. But it's just a very awkward pair. It's not my favorite pair at the moment. I like the opportunity, but definitely not my favorite pair, I must say. Okay, NAS, we'll take a look. Okay, going to jump in for a sell as well. Yeah, I like the idea. Like I said, I like it. Again, how we react is going to make or break the trade. That's the key thing that will make me enter or not. But if I get a good healthy entry at that area, then yeah, sure, I would go for some selling opportunities. Holy One, I was bearish with gold. Okay, alarm still hasn't gone off yet. Moving averages have not crossed, so they're still saving me. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, gold has been quite awkward. That move has been quite aggressive. I wasn't expecting a move like that, but now I think that kind of plays into my hands a little bit, the bullish move, if I get the entries I'm looking for. But we shall see. Okay, let me go through NAS. If I have missed out a pair, because I feel like I definitely have missed out someone's pair. Someone's requested, because there's been a lot of messages. But yeah, if I have missed out a pair, just drop it down in the chat. We'll take a look. But NAS 100, last time I looked at this one, we're looking pretty bullish. That is still the case. We've recently swept the all-time highs, and we're looking really healthy right now. So with NAS 100, yeah, I think there's more upside to be had, but we are running out of steam. We are becoming a little bit more corrective. So naturally, I do think we're likely to pull back before we will see some upside. Would I look to try and trade that? Absolutely not. I think it's very, very difficult to try and catch the high. We can always go a little bit higher. You know, people with stop losses above here can always be swept before the move. Even if you have stop losses here, we can sweep that before the move. So it's always very difficult to try and catch where the all-time high will be, where the next major high will be for any chart, really. But I can tell from the characteristics and how we're moving that a pullback is likely. This, of course, is our last range that we had, and this is where the momentum came from. So naturally, that is where I would be looking for a retest, especially from a swing bias. I think that would be a very nice place for a buy. 22k roughly, nice psychological level. And yeah, I'll kind of go from there, see how price reacts. If things look good, possibly a swing back to the high, wherever that forms, and go from there. I mean, the market's still very bullish. I think buys are the best bet still with the NAS, but not at the moment, of course. We're very, very bullish, and we need that pullback. And momentum is becoming quite depleted right now. So a pullback looks likely. Let's see when it happens. Hopefully it'll be sometime this week, but 22k is really where the interest lies for me. Excuse me. Yeah, similar plan as well, Pavinator. Enter at 0.66, take it all the way down and enter at 0.62. That would be a very nice play. Short Aussie dollar from 0.66 down to 0.62, buy it back up again. That will be That'll be a beautiful play if we could do that. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Again, a big part of trading is not necessarily predicting things, it's just reacting to things, which is a big difference. Took me a while to realize the difference between that. But yes, 0.66 is definitely something we can keep an eye on. Basically where that upper channel lies. USDs are doing the most. Light, I'm not sure what this obsession is about with USDs are. No problem, Yusuf, happy to help. BTC, okay, we'll quickly go through that. Appreciate that, Malik. Yeah, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It does really help out. Thank you so much to everyone who has liked so far. It does help the channel out, so I do really appreciate that. Of course, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more, and of course, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads, and share it with your trading friends as well. Papa, how low did the DXY go? I see 96.2, 95.7. I haven't actually really looked at targets for the DXY really. It's sort of a market which I'm expecting a bounce from, so I'm not necessarily seeing where it would happen from because I'm not necessarily looking to jump in front of that. I'll go take a look though. I don't really have an area which I'm looking for DXY to get to bounce. But yeah, BTC, as I mentioned, price is buffering at this prior all-time high here. We're trying to break through, but we are failing. We've got previous swing highs, 1, 2, potentially a third one forming. Some bearish momentum is creeping back into the market. It looks like a BTC could be set for another fall back into support here around 100K. Again, I don't think it's necessarily something to panic about. We just mentioned how price was very corrective over here. And a very similar situation as well. You know, we're at some prior all-time highs. You can see the all-time highs over here. Price came back into that, started buffering there too. Had this corrective channel, which did form lower highs as well. Before eventually we had a very smooth breakout and price continued. Are we seeing that happen again? Maybe. We could be seeing a copy and paste of that and then potentially another continuation. Very identical setups here, but as of right now, we're not going to get too much into the future. As of right now, I can see price is doing a pretty good job at respecting the high of that channel. It looks like a lower high is forming. And I think if we can get a solid close, breaking through support there, that might give us the green light for a bit of a sell-off. But yeah, BTC looks like it's got room to fall. Okay, so I'll go through the DXY for Papa. Stefan, Euro USD pullback short on the 15. Okay, we'll take a look at that. Lighten. Okay, you have a sell position up top. Okay. Nice. Go on, Lighten. Didn't know you had a position on. Good on ya. But yeah, still looking pretty good. Still looking pretty good. I think small downside is likely to come around for USDZR. So still looking pretty healthy. Okay, take care, Holy One. Just waiting pound CAD, 13 pips away. Okay, nice. Then on to the next. Catch you soon. Okay, take care, my man. Hopefully that pound CAD can go and hit the 13. Hit those 13 pips. But yeah, hopefully we'll see you soon. Yusuf, GUE on the 15. Okay, I'm about to take a look at the 15 anyway. Okay, I'll go take a look at the dollar, then we'll go through pound as well. So DXY, where is that bottom going to form? You said you're looking at 96.2, which is not too far away. 95.7. Maybe. I mean, experience has taught me, relax when it comes to try and predict where the lows and the turning points could fall. I normally I would have a rough idea where we could turn around from, naturally, because I want to know kind of where. But when things are very bearish, especially when it looks like we're breaking out a consolidation here, there could be a lot of room for us to fall into here with the DXY. I actually have long-term bias that we could be coming back to lows here at 90. but that could be another year away. So we're definitely not going to speak too much about that. But yeah, I would expect us to find some support soon. We're looking very correct. It's not like momentum is looking crazy right now. We are looking very fatigued. Potentially 96.2, 95.7 could be areas we turn around. I'm more interested in terms of when price starts to form some higher highs and higher lows. That's what interests me in terms of the buying opportunities. At the moment, all I'm seeing is bearish candles, and I'm not really going to try and predict too much where we can turn around from. If I do start to see some development with some higher highs and higher lows, breaker structures, then yeah, I will be talking more about that, because we've seen evidence of price reacting. Now the chance of price reversing is a lot higher. But yeah, we could reverse from those areas. We just have to wait for signs of it happening, and price is going to tell us that. But at the moment, still looking pretty bearish, so yeah, be careful with the longs. We could always fall a little bit further. As for Euro USD, you're looking for some sells, is that what you said, Stefan? Pullback short on the 15. I'm confused. Are you looking for a pullback? Are you looking to trade the pullback? Is that what you're referring to? I would agree. A pullback is probably likely. But again, it's the same situation as we just described with the DXY. This is a situation we're going to the upside. Very bullish market. Higher time frames look pretty bullish. There's still a lot of momentum in the market. I wouldn't try and short Euro USD for the primary reason that momentum is not in my favor. It's just a very aggressive trade. We're not even respecting resistance here. We just cleared some new highs. So yeah, I do expect us to pull back, yes. But how much of a pullback do we get? Is a situation where we pull back like this and continue? It could be a situation where we actually do form a top and reverse. It's just difficult to say. There's not a lot of confluences. I can't really build a story of why I'm expecting there to be a top. So I do agree, Euro USD likely to see some downside, but way too bullish for me to try and predict that. We could always go a little bit further. I would be careful if you're looking to short, especially on the 15 as well. I would be very, very careful about the shorting opportunities. In terms of what I think about the 50-minute time frame, it's still a very bullish market. If I'm looking for opportunities, I probably would want to see a deeper pullback. I quite like the consolidation here for a buy. Nice kind of back and forth, a lot of resistance there, a lot of support. A very nice break to the upside. I think a pullback into that zone, especially taking out some of these weaker lows here as well, could result in a very nice buying opportunity and a swing back to wherever the high forms. So Euro USD, very, very bullish. I'm seeing lots of momentum in the 15. Nice impulse, consolidation, another impulse, consolidation, another impulse, brief consolidation. So the momentum is very much with the buyers here. And in terms of a smart place for a buy, I quite like this zone. And you can be a bit more specific by lining it up with resistance there. So around 1.174 would be an interest for me. Taking out some minor lows, retesting a more substantial level. Then yeah, seeing if that trend can continue back to highs. So very, very bullish on the 15 for Euro. I wouldn't be looking to sell. Pound USD, same situation, although although we've only just cleared the highs, it's a little bit more awkward with pound. Euro, we've had a substantial move to the upside. Euro, we've had a substantial move to the upside, clearing highs. Pound, we've had a nice move, but it's only just cleared highs there, so it's still a bit in an awkward place where we could still pull back. I'd probably consider this high here as an area of interest because it's deep enough where we can look for a pullback. We're not close to the high and probably still roughly around 50% of that pullback. Yeah, just about. So it would be a healthy area for a buy. And maybe a higher low could bounce there, but it will depend on how we pull back and how we look from that. So yeah, pound USD, I like the buys. Euro, I like them more. I think they look better on the 15. They're both very bullish markets, so buying opportunities is what I'd focus on. They're both looking likely for a pullback pretty soon. But yeah, it's just about waiting for the market to come to us, finding some opportunities, and taking some buys there. So that's kind of what I look at on the 15 for both of them. So yeah, Stefan, I can see the idea of looking to short Euro because, again, I do agree a pullback is likely to form and you're just taking advantage of the pullback. The idea is you're going to be in and out. The position, I think if you are going to take some shorts, a key kind of element of the trade is be very aggressive with your management, because the market right now is quite aggressively bullish. So if you are going to take some shorts, it's the idea that, okay, the market's a bit stretched, we're likely to pull back now, let me try and take advantage of that pullback. If you're seeing some red flags that momentum is not really pushing in your favor, or a big bullish candle starts to go against you, I would be proactive and get out that trade, because momentum is not really in your favor. So if momentum starts to pick up for the buyers, it's probably a red flag and probably a sign to get out of that trade pretty quickly. So yeah, it's an aggressive trade. It's not necessarily a bad idea. I get the idea of it. Not really a trade I'll go through personally, but if you do take some shorts there, just be quite aggressive with the management. I think that could eradicate some unnecessary losses. Raheel, EuroCAD on. Okay, we'll take a look at EuroCAD as well. Papa will be in the sideline. DXY is one way down. Yeah. Again, like I said, there's nothing wrong with having areas of where we could bounce from and could turn around. So I do agree, keep an eye on those areas because they could present buying opportunities. But the biggest thing is if price reacts with that. It's why fundamental traders always need that basic understanding of price action, because they might be bullish on a market, they might be expecting, might have a million reasons why euro should go up against the dollar. But if the market is falling, it doesn't really matter what they're thinking or why they think euro can go up. If the market is falling, there is no buy opportunity there. You want to see some evidence that the price is actually obeying that bias. We're seeing rejection or higher lows are forming. Then you've got permission to go and trade that bias. Same with your expectation at those levels. Price might bounce at those levels, but wait to see evidence of price reacting. And then, sure, we can take some buys from there and get involved. But yeah, I agree. On the sidelines, wait for evidence first before jumping in. Alex, good morning, my man. I hope you're well. Yes, we can take a look at oil and BTC. First, let me just go through Euro Canadian. So EuroCAD recently just made new highs. As we can see, this is the daily chart. Still looking pretty bullish since that has happened as well. Still climbing higher, so no signs of reversal just yet. In fact, if I go to the monthly chart, you can see we are trading in some big levels of resistance. So I don't know, is price going to break through this? It could do. I have been expecting a bit of retracing for EuroCAD, but no signs of that happening just yet. The monthly candle just closed, and it did close with some strength. Doesn't necessarily indicate a break of the resistance, but momentum is still with the buyers, and we can see some evidence of that changing, which if I do go to the lower time frames, we don't really have any of that yet. So I wouldn't really look to buy this pair when higher time frame levels of resistance. Market just creates some new highs. We're looking a bit fatigued right now, so it's definitely not a market which I want to buy for those reasons. A market which I would like to sell, but definitely not ready to be sold yet. We haven't seen any bearish structure come into play. If I can get some lower lows and lower highs like this, that would be great. Then I can probably base a trade of something, maybe a break and retest somewhere, or some type of opportunity back into an area of supply. That would make sense. And then, I would take some shorts. We're coming from a big level in the monthly chart. Market's quite oversold. We just swept some highs out. We're still overly quite corrective on the way up. So I think we can see a pretty big move down. But those lower highs and lower lows are pivotal if I'm going to get into a trade. If not, we might just continue being bullish. We might break higher. So EuroCAD, nice area for shorts. Definitely not ready yet. Still looking quite bullish, but again, I would look to follow the trend for the reasons I mentioned. Overextended in major resistance, just taking out some highs, were quite corrective. As a swing trade especially, not really giving me a lot of confidence to follow that higher. In terms of oil, we just had a very awkward close on oil, which has made me kind of want to see momentum, which we are seeing now, which is good. But if I quickly go to the monthly chart, quickly just explain what I'm looking at. We've had support here, which of course has been the same support level we've been talking about for a while. But you can see how June just closed, massive wick to the upside. We pulled back and closed below it. So essentially this is acting as resistance. Now, this doesn't make me inherently bearish on oil, because if I drop to the weekly chart, we've actually had a break and a retest. So there's a bit of contradiction between the time frames. And which time frame is going to win is up to which way we break out in the lower time frames, which we'll get to in a second. But on the monthly chart, we could either see July go fill June's wick and push up, or continue that, form another wick to the upside and pull back and fall. The way I'm going to dictate which scenario is going to happen is depending which way you break out of this consolidation. As I've been saying, price more or less is still be holding onto support. We could still see some upside, but I want to see a strong break of this consolidation, something like that. If we get something like that, that will give me confidence to say that, okay, oil potentially could be on its way up now, and maybe a push back to resistance could look good. If oil does the opposite and breaks to the downside like this, then yeah, I would be pretty bearish, and I would be looking at a push back into the lows here. So it's kind of make or break territory with oil right now. I can see price going both ways, but depending on which way we break out, which way we see momentum break out towards, that will probably give us a good probability of which way price is going to go for the month. Whether it's a strong break lower, we continue that, perhaps a retest of the range. And likewise to the upside, you can either buy the breakout or look for a retest in the lower time frames. But either which way, there's a big move to be had. If we are going to buy and see a big move, I'm expecting us to get there. If we are looking to sell, I'm expecting us to get there. So whichever way we go, there should be a nice trade to take advantage of. Yeah, BTC, a lot of people mentioning BTC. I do agree, it does look very interesting. I think there could be a nice sell to be had here with BTC. Previous lower highs, respecting resistance pretty well. If you look to our left, major resistance over here, taking that across. You can see prices respected it once, twice. Looks like we're forming a third lower high here. Looks like we're about to snap through support here as well. And if we do see a strong close below that, I think that's the green light we need for BTC to drop. I said yesterday, if price was to break above the trend line, I would be bullish on that. I would expect us to get back to the swing highs and beyond, but that's not the case. We respected and now about to close below support. Well, I'll still wait for us to push a little bit further. We still got an hour left before that candle does close, so I wouldn't say we're closing yet, but we could do. It looks like price is rejecting the trend line, so yeah, I'm expecting BTC to fall here, and a lot more downside is expected. But yeah, not looking good for crypto, I must say. Ethereum not looking too hot either. Had a brief look at that one before the stream. Not the biggest fan of this one. We've come back into some consolidation, starting to move a bit sideways. I wonder if we're going to fall there as well, so not looking too good. I'm still currently in pound Aussie. Going to see how that position gets going for the rest of the week. Did see some nice momentum in our favor, but we are pausing slightly. Again, no trades, just going to go straight to your take profit. I mean, maybe sometimes it does if you caught the news and the news went in your favor. Well, then maybe you do catch a straight move, but especially as a swing trader, you have to stomach pullbacks, you have to stomach pauses, consolidation. And of course, sometimes price will come back and knock you out break even as well. And break even on this position. I did enter last Thursday, but I do have targets at the lows here. That's what I'm looking to take most of my profit. I do have expectations for us to see a lot more downside. I do have some targets down here as well, but I would take most of my profit there. I'll just leave small positions to run. But yeah, pound Aussie is the only trade I'm in. I'm also looking at Euro Aussie, which of course is very similar to pound Aussie, but I do have a very similar bias for both of them. And because pound Aussie is break even, there's no risk on the trade anymore. I do have permission to jump into Euro Aussie because I'm not kind of doubling up on the same idea. Well, I am doubling up on the same idea, but I'm only taking risk on one trade because risk has been removed with pound Aussie. So I don't mind getting into this trade as well, but I'm expecting a similar move. I'm looking at a pullback of this bearish swing here, and I'm looking to try and short it and anticipate another lower high forming for a swing back down into this area. I don't see price coming back here. I expect the likely move to be a push back down into this area. So shorts on Euro Aussie, something I'm definitely keeping an eye on. No entry signal just yet. We're still very, very flat, to be honest here. Not really seeing much momentum, which is something I like because it means we're slowing down. But the key thing is I need to see that strong kind of rejection to prove to me there's an entry. and that we can actually see some downside from then onwards. But that's my favorite pair at the moment. Euro Aussie shorts. I'll keep an eye on Aussie dollar shorts as well. I do prefer Euro Aussie to Aussie dollar, and because they both have Aussie in it, I think I might just trade Euro Aussie instead. But I'll see. I'll keep an eye on both. Yeah, this is the only pair which I'm looking to enter like today potentially. Other yen pairs I do like the look of, but they're not quite ready yet. Okay, I'll quickly go through UK 100 GJ. When you say it will reverse from where it's at right now, it could do, as that's the thing with correlation. It's not always black and white. On paper, yes, we could expect some strength with BTC, but that's not always the case. I mean, dollar's been falling for quite a while, but BTC has been going up. I mean, dollar's been falling since the start of the year, but if you look at the price action for BTC since the start of the year, where's the start of the year? Start of the year is here. So BTC for the start of the year pushed down and then pushed up, whereas the start of the year for the dollar was over here, and it's just been a one trip to the downside. So effectively, if the correlation is working, BTC should just be continuously rallying to the upside. But it hasn't. It's actually gone nowhere. It's actually still at the same price it was at the start of the year. It's just gone up. It's gone down and gone up. So there's a contradiction there. But yeah, inherently I like what I'm seeing with BTC. But yeah, on UK 100, still very bullish on this one as well. Expecting more upside. Haven't really seen the follow through yet. Like I said, this is my area of interest. We did see. Oh no, we did miss that level actually. I was looking for price to bounce there last week, but we didn't quite get there. I still like this zone. I still like how corrective we are. That tells me that the bigger move is still likely to be to the upside. I still like the fact that we haven't actually quite made all-time highs yet. That still gives me an expectation that we're likely to push higher. So yeah, I will keep an eye on the buys. This zone looks good to me. I also like this area here as well, should the pullback be even deeper. But I'll keep an eye on this resistance here, 86.80. If that does fail, then 85.20. But again, looking for buys there for FTSE. GJ as well, looking for buys at support there. Depends what the yen does, so keep a close eye on that. But for now, this is still very sturdy resistance, which will be turned support. So keeping a close eye on 196.5. If we get another high low, could be some nice longs off the back of that. Pull Euro Yen. Yeah, Euro Yen, I'm waiting for a bigger pullback. I'm not looking to buy it just yet. I'm looking for a bigger pullback because I'm hopefully looking for a bigger swing. So 165 is where I'm looking to buy from. I'm hoping to see us pull back deeper. We've kind of got like some corrective channel going through the market here. But effectively, I want to see price pull away from that, get more of a discount on the buy, retest some structure here. I had a nice kind of range over here which broke out. Hopefully looking for the retest of that. And again, I'm looking for a big swing trade. If you're looking for a bit more intraday, then yeah, you might be a bit more zoomed in on this area for more of a buy for the day or a couple days. I'm looking to see if I can buy for a week or a couple weeks. So I'm looking for inherently bigger pullbacks. But this is really the level that does tickle my fancy. So I'm waiting for 165. Let's see what we can do there. Might be some nice shorts on the way down as well, but 165 is kind of where I'm at. No, I don't use the Edge Finder Malik. I haven't used it before. It could be an amazing tool, but I haven't used it. Anyway, guys, we have come up to the end of the stream. I hope you have found it useful, have enjoyed it. If that is the case, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. Thank you to everyone who has liked and subscribed. Do really appreciate that. And of course, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. I will be live again tomorrow, same time as always, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time, every weekday. So if you want to see more of my analysis, chat with us some more. If I didn't get to your pair, which I'm pretty sure I did, but if I didn't, we'll go again tomorrow as well and see what's happening. If I do get any updates with my position, I'll let you guys know. And of course, if I do get into any new position, I'll let you guys know as well. But yeah, really do appreciate you tuning in for another stream, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great day. and I'll catch you all in the next one.
Zentrix AI. The advanced AI-powered trading platform for every trader. Everything you need for trading success. Research, strategy, automation, trade signals, all in one platform. Write strategies in plain language. We build the bots. Forex, crypto, stocks, futures. Every market. Let AI do the heavy lifting. Zentrix AI. The future of trading is here. Are you ready?